It's another weekend and just another time to have the best of information, analysis only on Enterprise Television. And you are switched on to Enterprise Weekend right here from the headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria. I am Henry Igubike.
And I'm Choma Okohe.
We're about to head to our newspaper reviews segment, but before that, if you haven't already, please join us and have a say in what we say by subscribing to our YouTube channel at Enterprise TV7 and visit our website at enterprisetvnews.com. Our guest to do justice to our newspaper review segment today is Barrister Vance Ofeli. Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, so quickly let's start off our newspaper review segment with the first daily we have. It's coming from a Saturday Vanguard newspaper, and we have on the very top strip of the same newspaper, Rivers crisis pressure mounts on Fubara to dump the PDP.
And still on the Saturday Vanguard, why Lagos government can't stop Lagos, coming from Abuja Cartel. Details are on page 10.
And that's exactly on the crude oil theft. And on the bottom strip of the same newspaper, it's still the same old, Edo will be okay, and that's from the aspirant of the Labour Party.
And still on the Saturday Vanguard, my fears for APC in 2027, that is coming from Maho, and details are on page 13.
All right, so let's take a look at two very important stories here, and if possible, you can take them one after another. The first is on the crude oil theft, why government can't stop Lagos Abuja cartel. Is there something Nigerians need to know that we don't know yet? And secondly, if you may, on the Rivers crisis, a pressure mounts on Fubara to dump the PDP. So you can start off with anyone you so please.
This pressure on Fubara to dump the PDP is coming from where exactly? Because whether he dumps the PDP or not, if it's a pressure from Wike, or the pressure from the local government chairman, or the pressure from enemies across, will it make any difference if he leaves the PDP? Is the pressure he's facing, is it party sensitive? Is it party? I don't think it's party sensitive. Okay? So whatever pressure it is put together, whatever party he goes to, the foundation of his problem and pressure has to do with loyalty to Wike, who happens to be his godfather. Okay? So, I mean, if he leaves the PDP and goes to where, will the pressure end? Because even the Wike himself is not strong in the PDP. He's the main person generating the pressure. Okay? Now, lawmakers, 27 of them that were in PDP moved to APC. That brought
and I've returned back to the PDP.
That brought more problems. Have they returned? I don't know. Where did they return? You tell us more about it. Tell us more about it, because is it based on the court?
Exactly.
The court was silent now. The last court, the Court of Appeal, was silent on the issue of their seats. Okay, only said the court below have no jurisdiction.
Okay.
So does that amount to them going back to PDP? Well, I don't know. Time will tell. But Fubara's own case and pressure and mount pressure to leave party, I don't think is the issue here. He has to deal with bigger issues of the past. And but the truth is that the elders of Rivers State, they are not helping matters at all. They are not helping matters. This issue could have been resolved if they did not handle the situation at the beginning. They should have resolved it. Resolve it in the interest of Fubara to complete his tenure, so that there will be peace. Because what is going on now is, at the end of the day, he may end up just fighting until his tenure expires. And he'll be asking himself, was I a governor? Was I ever a governor? Because there was never peace in his administration. 1 year after, you are still having problems all over the place. So it's not tidy at all. Politicians are known for negotiation and settlements. They should have been able to resolve this issue before now, but that has not been the case. So
All right, so take us on the crude oil theft. Why government can't stop Lagos Abuja cartel? Unfortunately, the papers aren't mentioning this cartels in particular. But what your take?
yeah, the government will not mention. They don't usually mention the cartel, but Santita has mentioned they indicted the Navy some time ago. You remember?
That's very
they
true.
had, they had a clash with the Navy, and they made assertion. Even Asari Dokubo once said that the Navy indicted the Navy, that the Navy, they are responsible for what is going on. They're in cahoot with some other foreign bodies. Also, one of the companies that used to purchase the stolen crude in the US, okay, have also been identified. Femi Falana SAN did commence an action, or threatened to commence an action then, when they had to travel to the US to make further investigation, because theft is an offense. Now, if you buy stolen goods, it's also an offense, okay? Or international law and even municipal laws, or even the penalty for buying stolen goods is equal to the penalty of theft in Nigeria. 7 years each. Yes. Because if there's no market, the idea of the law is that there's no market for that thing. People won't be stealing. And even when they steal, those who receive it from them and pay them are aware that it's stolen. So until they're able to exculpate themselves. But the truth is that the internal forces responsible for the theft, the rats in the house, okay, that inform the one outside that landlord has brought in fish, is the major problem, okay? There was a time they identified some pipelines not too long ago. Was it the NNPC that unearthed it, or one organization unearthed it? Pipeline, they said that pipeline had been there for so many years.
For close to 20-something years.
For close to 20-something years, drilling our oil away. That was when further research was made into the Saudi Arabian, the management of their crude, how they use surveillance and electronic means to survey at their own, and they are able to steal. But here you have a 20-year-old, sabotage, unrestrained, moving our crude to other locations. And if the federal government came out with a figure which is in trillions of naira, in billions of dollars. So that cartel need to be dealt with. It's just that in the Nigerian state, where the institutions are very weak, when very strong people are involved in criminal activities, these are the same people that fund politicians, fund their elections, fund their parties, fund everything. It then becomes very difficult for them to go after those people. Then they will not be telling you that, they'll just be writing like that, stories like that. You're not able to find out who is doing what.
Okay, when this particular issue came up, because it's been on before now, I saw a video online where those in the executive and parliament, they were having a meeting, and they were like, someone stood up, I can't particularly remember the minister, and he stood up and he said, or the senator, and he said, they know for a fact that those that are into this are not the poor. He said it's even amongst them there. Now, don't you think in a way some of our leaders are also involved?
Very well, they're involved now. Well, when we talk, this thing they call bunkering, and then the outright oil theft. Do you know how much it takes to get a vessel? No poor person can undertake. You can't undertake. A poor man cannot undertake it. Even a whole village cannot undertake it. Even if they contribute all the money they have made in their lifetime, they cannot buy a vessel. They cannot get the expertise that will go and do this theft. They use professionals too now to go get it across, move it. They use pirates too, that will interface with the Navy. They use all kinds of forces. Once they pull that crude, offshore, pull it into 14 nautical miles away from the country, they have entered international waters. You understand? So they have taken it. it then becomes very difficult. And you cannot now go into the international territory, a part of the sea that belongs to Nigeria, to say, this is my crude, this is not my crude. So what's the evidence that it's your crude?
Exactly.
It's not in your territory. It's outside your territory and all that. And sometimes those vessels they use are vessels that are not even properly licensed, or they are specifically meant for smuggling. So every vessel is supposed to carry the name of the country that owns it and the flag of that country.
Exactly.
You understand? But you also have malpractice on, in that arena. So,
All right.
Thank you, Dr. Philip.
Yeah.
Let's get into our next daily here, the Daily Independent newspaper. And on the top strip, how we prevent touting at our terminal. That is coming from Courtney.
Yes, and the big story here says how Tinubu approved adoption of GMO seeds despite opposition experts. And the writer there says, we don't need GMOs to feed Nigerians, farmers insist. And of course, the federal government says GMO enhances crop yields, food security, pest and insect resistance. And
still on the daily newspaper, NUC keeps mum as AAU ECOMA graduates 3 sets of medical lab scientists without accreditation. Nance decries NUC in action.
On the bottom strip of the Saturday Independent, why Nigerian military is operating School of Islamic Affairs, and that's from the DMO. And the writer there says, life is spiritual and military men are not exempted.
Yeah, Barrister Philly, let's get into the big story here, how Tinubu approved adoption of GMO seeds despite oppositions. Now, looking at the story here, the farmers are saying that GMOs can't feed Nigerians. Now, the other person, that's Dr. Gidado, is saying that GMO enhances crop yields, food security. Who do we listen to? Is it the farmers or those that are saying it can? Despite opposition, they want to still go ahead with this. And the farmers who are in the business, they are actually in the business of it and they know the nitty-gritties around it. Who should we listen to?
Well, we'll listen to both sides, but I think the government is getting it wrong. In countries where they adopt GMO seedlings, you actually have more yield. But government forget that in those countries, they have storage. They have light, they have electricity, they have storage, because GMO produce, they don't last without storage. You understand? So it goes bad once there's no storage. Here, we have natural plant and other, and because it's seasonal, when we have the deluge of harvests, okay, those natural plants, they stay as long as possible. They still get spoiled because we don't have storage. Okay? So why should you be advocating, approving, and canvassing for GMO just because of the yield? Okay, when we now have the yield and it's now surplus, that we're not able to consume them one-off, how do we preserve them?
But how do we still draw the line? Subsistent agriculture, which of course doesn't feed Nigerians, and GMO.
No, it's not subsistent agriculture I'm talking of. You can use mechanization and plant natural seed.
But the reality.
And get yield.
Yes.
No, the conversation of mechanization is different too. You are adding another layer to it. You see, the seedlings and the GMO science is what the president approved, which will give you more yield, which will give you more and all that, which has its own effect too. You understand? You can also use mechanization, okay, to grow natural seedlings and have more yield. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, because subsistent agriculture is what we have, and that is what we have practiced all the while. Technology has advanced. Okay, now we should have mechanized farming. But mechanized farming does not actually affect the seedlings. It's just that you can now cultivate faster, more expanse of land, and quicker. That's what you can do. But as to GMO seedlings, these are seedlings that are genetically modified. Okay? They are not in their natural state. They are modified to produce more. Okay? But in places where we've had success with GMOs, they have storage. But we don't have storage here. We don't have light. So is it the Bambi that are going to use to store this thing I'm talking about? Because if you continue this way, and then we have to use, we have GMO, we have to use generator and the rest of them to store them. By the time we're out to sell, we have created more problem because the price will still be up there. You understand? Look at the co-room services we have. You know, a kilo of meat, a kilo of fish, or whatever it is. Much of what you are paying is the expenditure on the storage. What the seller have to spend to keep it fresh. You understand? So by the time, in countries where they buy from, the Cotonou and all that, where they bring them from, they have constant power supply. So when you bring them in here, you don't have constant power supply, so you need machines to keep them fresh. Now that running cost, you add the running cost of the storage on the goods. Then you add the cost of transportation and the cost subsidy is gone. Then you add so many things on top. At the end of the day, you are buying a kilo of meat or turkey for over 6,000. You understand? Over 6,000. Before the subsidy was about 2,000 plus 3,000. Now it's about 6,000. So this conversation on GMO would have been fantastic if we have storage.
Okay. All right. Just before we let you move into the next newspaper, spirituality is the best value proposition for any human being. How necessary do you think it is for the military to adopt it as a part of their system?
It's a strategy.
Yeah.
Spirituality in what sense? I mean, in the that has to do with the story of Islam.
Yes, especially why Nigerian military is operating School of Islamic Affairs, and the DMO is coming to give a thumb up to it.
It's a School of Islamic Affairs. What does Islamic Affairs? How does it impact on the military, on their strategy and their competence? I don't know how, but I think religion is actually a personal thing. Why should the military take on Islamic affairs, which is sectional? You understand? It's sectional. Because not everyone is a Muslim. Not everyone believes in Islam. Even when they say it's a religion of peace, not everyone believes that. But that's not what we see. You understand? We are not seeing that. So I think it's a personal thing. I don't think the government should adopt any form of religious appellation just because they feel it will add value to their cause. I don't think so. The military should remain a secular endeavor, okay, and the indulgences should be guided by the rules of engagement. Okay, we have statutes, we have laws, and the military also have their own internal regulations. So those regulations should be their guideline. They shouldn't go and be importing other extraneous materials into I don't think any religion have the capacity to make the army more effective.
All right. Finally, and let's move on to our last daily for today, the Nation newspaper. And the big story here says a flood. Anxiety in states as rainfall intensifies.
Okay, moving on the top strip of the Nation newspaper. 8 British Nigerians win paramilitary seats in UK election.
Okay, and appeal court judgment, no cause for worry. And that's coming from the Fubara. Barrister, I'd love to start off by saying congratulations to the Labour in the UK for sweeping the overall votes, but particularly 8 British Nigerians win parliamentary seats in a UK election. What do you think INEC needs to learn from what happened in the UK?
You are talking about British Nigerians?
Yes.
What is
Nigerians are there, actually.
Yes, it's a good one. It shows that Nigerians are actively involved in politics in the United Kingdom. It was expected because the way they came out this time around and the way Labour went about its campaign was one that it was a delight to watch and to see that they were able to make their proposition and argument very sound. At every turn, they appear to understand the issues and how to deal with the issues. Now, Nigerians are doing well all over the world. It's just unfortunate that the environment here is quite not accommodating of Nigerians to, express their potentials. And I will tell you one thing: whenever I'm outside the country, UK, US, every time I sojourn out and come into the house, I discover that I don't get as tired as I used to get tired when I'm in Nigeria. Every day, yeah.
How do you mean? You don't get as tired as you are when you are in Nigeria?
No, tired. What I mean is if I go out and come in.
Yes.
Yes, exhaustion.
Okay.
The over there, for me, I don't know of other people, even if I work more, when I'm getting in, I don't get as tired as I would if I were here. You understand? I'm not saying that's the reason, but I'm saying maybe because the transportation system is very seamless, and maybe because the roads are good. Those are issues. Maybe because there are no noise pollution. Maybe also because the weather is not as harsh as we are in the tropics. They are in the temperate region. Okay, so I don't know, but all those forces put together. That is not to say that that place is better than this place. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Nigeria is not good. I'm saying that there are a lot of factors that aid, life and living over there that is missing here. If I want to get to a distance like from here to TBS, I know exactly how many minutes it will take me if I'm in the UK. I know exactly how many minutes I'll do that. But if I'm in Lagos, I have no control. I can set out now and get there by 3 p.m. No, it happened. Somebody was going to the UK. Someone was going to the UK. He left the UK. His own brother, who used to be here, went to Apapa to move the goods that guy brought some weeks back. The guy was leaving the same day. The guy going to the UK got to the UK. The brother moving the goods with the truck from the Apapa wharf out into the mainland was still on the way when this other guy got into the UK. 6 hours after this guy is in the UK, the person moved from Apapa to mainland is still there. So we don't have control over the kind of that period. The trailers were packed on both sides of the road to Apapa. Then even the Lagos State government waded into it to see how they were able to decongest it. It was difficult. Before you move from Westminster, just a distance, you still within the Apapa area, to the seaport itself, it will take you like 4 or 5 hours. Somebody who left the airport here to the UK has gotten to the UK. So that's what I'm saying. Over there, you have control of many things. Like, when the bus, you check your app to know when the bus will arrive. You get to the bus stop at that time. You take the bus, then you check your app when you return. You know how many buses are going to come back. You know what time. And at the exact time, you will see that bus. Whether it's bus, whether it's tram. We have tram. The one that runs in the city. Yeah. It's a train, but it's called tram. It runs within the city. You know when it's going to come. You know what? So the way the city is organized also, but here when you are running on bad roads, it strains your brain, your energy, sap you. Before you get to work, you are tired. Before you come back, you are tired. So this part of it might not be the question you asked me. I just stretch it to that. But I'm saying that it's good Nigerians are making mark. People are saying that with the right environment, we are not the people that the outside world think we are. If we are put in a better environment, we will flourish. Nigerians in America are the most educated. Nigerians in America. The Americans don't really care about school that much. All they wanted to get with their degree, they already have it without a degree. So, what is it for? The ones who love academics are the ones who read. You understand? Some schools don't even offer PhD courses because you need people that have interest for you to even run a program. You understand? So that's how it is.
Yeah, I just sincerely, hope for a Nigeria where our electoral system and equally our politicians will recognize value.
Sure.
Yes, a value, especially in the minds of Nigerians, getting the right people, to do the right jobs. Very true.
Okay, thank you. That's all we have for you now. When we return, Nigeria signed Samoa agreements despite homosexual concerns. We'll be right back shortly with more details. Please don't go anywhere.